So good evening students. Today we'll start the chapter number 3, your coordinate geometry. This chapter was in class 8, where you used to find the quadrants where the numbers lie, where you have to find x and y. So introduction part. So this plane will be known as your Cartesian plane. This horizontal line is known as your x-axis. This vertical line is known as your y-axis. You all know it. The intersection point of this x-axis and y-axis is known as your origin. So horizontal line is x-axis, vertical line is y-axis, and the intersection point of x at y-axis is known as origin, where the origin point is 0, 0. Now when I am writing this 0, 0, it means x is 0, y is also 0. So the first point will be for x and the second point will be for your y. You cannot write y comma x, it will be always x comma y, because y is the axis which is always dependent on x-axis. So remember, this x-axis is your independent axis, y-axis is your dependent axis, and which axis it is dependent on? It is always dependent on the x-axis. So the origin is 0, 0. So these two lines divide the plane into 4 quadrants. Remember, these two lines divide this plane into 4 parts, and these 4 parts are known as your quadrants. Quadrants means it will be your first quadrant, this is your second quadrant, this is your third quadrant, and this is your fourth quadrant. So first, second, third, fourth, not first, second, third, fourth. This is the first, second, third, and fourth, where in the first quadrant all the points will be, remember, always positive. X is positive, y is also positive. In the second quadrant, x is negative, y is positive. In the third quadrant, x is negative, y is also negative. So x is negative, y is also negative. And in the last quadrant, fourth quadrant, x is positive, y is negative. X is positive, y is negative. Now the plane is known as Cartesian plane or the coordinate plane. This plane is known as your Cartesian plane or the coordinate plane. The distance of a point from the y-axis is called the x-coordinate. So these x-coordinates, these are the x-coordinates. These are also named as, remember, abscissa. What? Abscissa. The distance of a point from the x-axis is called y-coordinate. So the points which will lie on this line will be known as your y-coordinate, or also it is known as ordinate. Remember, only ordinate. And this x comma y are called the coordinates. So when this x and y will combine with each other, it will give you the coordinates. So x points are known as abscissa, y points are known as ordinate, and x and y both, when they will combine, they will known as coordinates. So next we'll see how to represent these points on the quadrants and how will you plot these points on this x-axis or y-axis or on the quadrants. So if we'll give some examples. So the question is asking, tell me which these points will lie on which quadrant or which axis. So this first point, -4, -4, as both the points are negative, so it will lie on the third quadrant. Next point is -5, 9, as the first point x is negative, y is positive, so it is second quadrant. Next 1, 5, both are positive, so it is the first quadrant. Next 2, 3, it is also first quadrant. 2, -3, as x is positive, y is negative, so it will be fourth quadrant. -4, -9 will be third quadrant. But when I will talk about 5, 0 or -6, 0, 10, 0, -10, 0, all these points will lie on the x-axis. They will not lie on the quadrants. It will lie on the x-axis. Remember, on the x-axis, y value is always equal to 0. Similarly, 0, -5, 0, -4, 0, 10, 0, -10, all these points will lie on the y-axis. So on the y-axis, x value is 0. On the x-axis, y value is always equal to 0. Next, I think you all know how to plot the points on the graph. That was also in class 8, where you used to only the first quadrant, but in class 9 all the quadrants we have to consider. Suppose the first point -4, -4. So x is negative, y is negative, so this will be -4, -4. This point 1, 5, this point 2, 3, this point 5, 0, this point 0, -5. Let I have to choose -5, 9. So x is -5 here, y is 9 here, so this will give you -5, 9. So in this method you can plot the points on the graph also. So if you understood, then do like and subscribe my channel, and your homework will be exercise 3.1 and 3.2. If you have some doubts, you can post it. Thank you.